Yo, what is good, everybody? It's your boy, the Strongest Wizard, and tonight is indeed fight night, and we have ourselves another OP07 match here. We got my boy Endeavor on the left-hand side with that black and yellow Luffy, as well as Falsifiers on the right with Enel. Now, this is a banger of a match, just because this is grand finals here at DX Outpost, DX Provisions. And guys, everyone has been talking about this Enel deck. I feel like I see everybody playing this deck, dude. Everyone absolutely loves this deck. So I'm just laughing at Falsifiers bringing up his Instagram. It's kind of funny. So we got my boy Endeavor on the left, of course. It looks like he might be starting things off here. And yes, he's going to go ahead and start with 1 Dawn and pass the turn. Quick shout out to today's sponsor, which is DX Outpost, DX Provisions, the only place where you get all your solar product. And right now, guys, they do have a ton of product as well as singles on there. So if you're interested in some sealed or single product, check out the link below. So we see the Garb grabbing the 5-cost Luffy, and then Falsifies going to 4 Dawn and just straight up passing it is what it looks like. Not much Enel does here in this matchup. It's just kind of literally wait it out, starve your opponent here. But when you have characters like the 4-cost Kuzan we see coming down, as well as the 5-cost Luffy, which we do see in Endeavor's hand, it's essentially impossible to really starve 5-cost Luffy. Then you have to end up having to remove some of those bodies. Now, he did end up choosing to go with the Kuzan, and we are going to see the punish here with that Gadatsu. If Endeavor would have played the 5-cost first, I think he would have been able to use its ability, go down to 3, and then possibly play out the Kuzan the following turn, if that's the kind of play that he wants to go. But Endeavor is a very well-seasoned black and yellow Luffy player, so if anyone knows how to do it, I believe it's Endeavor. So, my man Falsify is already at 1 life. Did you guys see what happened? I blinked an eye and this man's already down. But we do see the Kingdom come to get rid of that 5-cost Luffy, an extremely big threat in any matchup. It's such a great card. But we do see Endeavor here finally looking at like 10 Dawn, and we do have a couple different plays here. We have, of course, the Gecko Morias in hand. We have 2. We have a Makino. We have a Rocket Luffy, another 5-cost Luffy, as well as an Ice Age. So definitely lots of different plays here. So we did swing 7k and no trigger there, and we just end up pitching the Gadatsu to replenish our life. And I think with the Garp, we're not probably going to swing with it. I highly doubt Endeavor is going to just throw the mountain of a Dawn on top of this Garp and kind of see it happening here. I don't think that's the play. I'm imagining he's probably going to throw down the 5-cost Rocket Luffy or the 5-cost Starter Deck Luffy or the Sabo. All really good choices here. Maybe the Sabo to get some cycle going on. But it looks like we are going to go ahead and see the Sabo coming down, drawing 2, trashing 2. And now we have a ton of options. We're going to get rid of the Rocket Luffy just because we are going to go ahead and grab that. And now it looks like he's debating to get rid of the event card in his hand. And it looks like we're going to go ahead and get rid of the event card. And then as well as that 5-cost Rocket Luffy. And we are going to go ahead and pass the turn, choosing not to swing with that Garp. And yes, we are finally at 10 Dawn. Now Falsifies, this is 10-cost Ace turn for sure, and we're going to see the Yamato instead, replenishing a life and then popping nothing because of that Sabo ability, giving everything protection. Now Falsifies, instead of pressuring the board here, he's just going to go ahead and pass the turn. Keeping it nice and slow here, exactly what Enel wants to do. And I feel like a lot of people have been voicing their opinions to me about how difficult and how annoying this matchup can be, or just Enel currently. It's just a threat, man. It's just a threat. And now we see that 5k swing connecting, and we see the Shirahoshi coming down. Exactly what I'm talking about here. Grabbing 3 cards, trashing 2, and guys, the card holder is at its maximum right here. Shout out to these boys here for allowing me to do the hand cam. Sometimes it is quite annoying to kind of have a camera right next to your hand, but I really do appreciate these guys, and I think it's a lot of great insight for the viewer as well. So we're going to see that Gecko Moria coming down, dropping the Kuzan as well as the Garb, drawing a card off the Kuzan, and then searching top 5. We're going to go ahead and plus 1 card in our hand here, which is really nice. We replace the Gecko with the Kuzan, and then we add 1 with the Garb. I really do love that play a lot. Very, very good here. So because he did swing Gadatsu, I imagine he's going to go ahead and not attack, or he's going to go ahead and attack with the Enel here. But it looks like we're going to go ahead and tap 5 for the Rocket Luffy using the ability here to pop the Kuzan, and then replenishing a card out of her hand. I am surprised that Falsifies didn't just swing 5k into the character instead of the Gadatsu. Even if you get a free block, you can then pressure the Yamato into it. So I am pretty surprised on that. But we do see the Makino coming into play here, grabbing the top life, reorganizing the rest, and then putting it back. So we are going to go ahead and lose a life, slowly getting down to 0 life. And if you see Endeavor's hand, man, that is a hand. There is so many cards in your hand right now. It's quite insane. Very typical of Black Yellow Luffy. I feel like a lot of more players here that are kind of newer tend to kind of go through their hand a lot faster, but it looks like we are going to go ahead and reorganize it in a specific way. I do think Black Yellow Luffy is a bit of a big brain deck. I would love to know your guys' thoughts and opinions about the deck. I currently ran a poll a couple weeks ago, like a week ago, and asking what people thought. I think people thought the deck was easy, but also kind of difficult. But we do see the Hiyori coming in down, and we're going to go ahead and throw that 5-cost Luffy into life, play the 2-cost, use its ability here to play out the 5-cost, use its ability here to take our last life, trash the life. We're going to be able to draw a card if we did end up doing so, and it looks like we are going to go ahead and attach 2 Dawn to this leader Luffy. Most likely going to go ahead and use its leader ability here to pitch a card, to pitch 2 5-cost characters in our life, and then with 3 active Dawn, we're probably going to replace the Makino here, but we're going to swing 6k into 6 here. He's actually going to give us a 1k counter. That's pretty big here, pretty big, just because we know we're probably going to have the Luffy swing into it, and we see the Sabo coming down, replacing the other Sabo, just because we didn't have another one in our hand. We're going to use leader ability here to play out, obviously put those 2 cards in life like I did mention before, play out the Sabo, and then draw 2 trash 2, swinging 9k into life actually, and it does end up getting replaced here. We're going to go ahead and pitch the Momonosuke here. I believe that card is a vanilla, and it looks like we're swinging 13k most likely into life here. We all know that Falsifies most likely has another card in our hand to replenish our life. A card like 10-cost Ace or 9-cost Yamato definitely has it in his hand. They always have it in their hands, especially with 4, 8, 11 cards in hand. We are going to see a 9k swing going to the Gecko Moria. This is an even 1k. We have to counter out of this. I feel like with all these attacks we want to, but we probably will see the Ace coming down. Yep, we're going to go ahead and replenish a life and then swing 10k into that Gecko. That's a 2k counter, and it looks like we are going to go ahead and pass the turn. We do have 1 life still, and that is incredibly good for Endeavor. As long as we have the Kid Luffy in our hand, which we do, and you see it right next to the 5-cost Luffy, that's really awesome, because technically speaking, we can get down to, or we can get up to 13k. I'm sorry, an 11k leader this turn if we really wanted to. So it looks like we're swinging 6k into life. We're going to go ahead and give him a 2k counter. We're going to swing 9k into life. It does connect actually, and this is very, very good, especially for the fact that we have that 5-cost Luffy as well. That is a guaranteed 8k swing going into that life this turn. So most likely we will see the Gecko Moria coming down, and it looks like we did end up pitching that 8-cost Katakuri if you were curious about that. So yes, 8-cost Gecko Moria coming down. We're going to go ahead and get the Sabo as well as the Luffy. We're going to replace the Hiyori and then of course the Sabo. We're going to use that Rocket Luffy ability here, gain 2k, using Luffy ability here to plus 2k on that character, the one that we did have of course the following turn, the previous turn, and then we're going to go ahead and use leader ability, pitch a card, add 2 to the life, use Sabo ability, draw 2, trash 2. I do understand that I am going very fast, but that is just the name of the game, unfortunately. So using that Sabo is huge, and now that 8k swing, we're going to counter out of it, and now we're swinging a huge 11k swing. Not sure if this is into life or this is actually into Yamato. It's actually into life, and we are going to go ahead and take it. No trigger. It's actually that Kingdom Come, which is actually essentially useless, not only because of Sabo ability, but also because we only have 1 life on both player side here. So we are swinging 9k into the Gecko Moria, and it looks like it might actually go down. The fact that we have the 10-cost Ace is kind of an issue here. But I do think, yeah, giving him the 1K definitely seems the biggest thing here. And now we're seeing a 10K swing going into the Luffy, and that is very unfortunate. You love your good boy. And now we have another ace coming down. This is a 10K swing going into most likely Gecko Moria, and we're gonna give him a 2K counter. Falsifies is only at 1 life, and he has a ton of cards in hand. We're swinging 6K into life. He's gonna counter out of it. We swing 9K into life. He's gonna go ahead and give us a 0 cost event card plus another counter, another 2K counter on top of that, because of course that is only 8K plus the 2. And now we see a 6K swing going into life. This is incredible, and it looks like we're gonna go ahead and give him 2 cards out of the hand here. And now with that 1 Gecko Moria still active, we can swing into life. Unfortunately, he's been countering out of it, so I kind of feel like there's no real reason unless you want to put him down to 0 again. We could actually go for a board as well. I know it's only 1K counter, but I mean, he only has 3 cards in hand anyway, so it could be worth it. It just really depends on what Endeavor wants to do. We probably will swing into life though, honestly, just knowing how this goes. And yes, we do swing into life. We see an 8 cost category, another card with no counter. We're gonna go ahead and attach 2 Dawn to leader. Use Gecko Moria ability here to grab 2 more kids, which is gonna be that Luffy as well as that Sabo. That Sabo has gained so much value having the 1 the entire time. Grabbing that Luffy, we are gonna go ahead and use, of course, that leader ability here to put 2 more cards into life. We're going to replace the Sabo with the Sabo, and then we're going to go ahead and draw 2 trash 2, having 4 in our hand. We're going to go ahead and pitch 2 Rocket Luffy as well as the 5 cost Sabo, and of course having that extra security in our life, which is another Sabo. So we have 1 life, we have a 1 blocker, and then we have a 9K leader the following turn, which is really good. And I imagine we're going to use Luffy ability to draw us another card. I think we need the counter for sure. There's no real reason to keep him on board. I think with the board that we have now, I feel like Endeavor can definitely win next turn. Now, you are staring down a pretty insane board, but swinging over this Yamato is a great play here, getting a huge body off the board. And of course it does go down just because we do see Falsify's hand. It's no counter. Yeah, I think Endeavor here is debating the 5 cost Luffy, Rocket Luffy ability here, which, like I said before, I definitely agree with. I think if you do end up using its ability here, you draw yourself a card. It might help you in the long run. If you draw into an Ice Age, you kind of want to cry, but hey, I think it's worth a chance here. So we're gonna use Rocket Luffy ability, and we grab another Sabo. There's all our Sabos, and we're gonna go ahead and pass the turn. Now, Falsifies is, of course, like I mentioned before, 1 life. We have 2 10 cost aces as well as 2 Gadatsus. The Gadatsus, I think, are not too relevant. I feel like it's definitely the aces, and I think if you want to go super wide, you totally can. But if you look at Falsify's hand, he still has a 10 cost ace, and that's when my hand cam died. I really do apologize, guys. I know that the final turns is so important, but yeah, the camera does die. So very, very, very sad about that. I do apologize once again. But we do know that he has a 10 cost ace in his hand. So swinging 10K into 9, I have to assume he's going to go ahead and go that route instead of swinging with like 4 big swings. He definitely could have done 4 swings for sure with the Gadatsus. Only reason why I said he couldn't before is because, you know, he probably will play that 10 cost ace. Just, you know, that's probably what's going to happen here. But yeah, we see another 10K swing going into life. This is a 2K counter out of his hand, but no, we're going for the Gecko Moria, which is totally understandable here, getting rid of a big body. And then we see another ace coming down, ace swinging 10K probably into this Gecko Moria, and now with no other swings, he can't attack with anything else. Endeavor is going to give him his whole hand here, 2 cards out of his hand, and we're going to pass the turn. Can Endeavor seal the deal right now? He has 2 cards in life, Falsifies does, and he has, I believe, 2 or 3 cards in hand. I think he has 3 cards in hand, so pretty insane here. We have 3 life, so all 4 swings needs to connect. If there is a 0 cost, if there is a beige, it's over. So set 8k swing goes into life, and he's gonna go ahead and take it. No trigger. We'll never know what that card is. And we see a 9k swing going into life. Do we see a trigger? No trigger. Using a leader ability here, we're gonna go ahead and pitch the Katakuri to recover 1 life. Guys, 0 cost event card, Amaru. There's so many options here. 10k into life. Does it connect? And it does. No trigger. And now we see a huge swing going into life, and Endeavor takes it. Falsifies a handful of bricks, essentially. Thank you guys so much for checking out this channel. This video I really appreciate it, and stay tuned because I have a ton of new OP07 content coming out soon. See ya.